Hey you guys, it's Peter and Boo Radley, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo. I see you because I almost didn't catch that. I'm YouTube famous now. Available Christmas 2029.5 BC, the album. Dad, shimmy, shimmy. Hey little thing, let me light your candle, cause mama, I'm sure hard to handle now. Thinking a candle, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine. Rock on gold, that's Boo Radley. Boost! How are you guys doing today? Oh my God. What a day it has been. What a day. I don't know if I've ever worn this shirt on camera before. It's just kind of starting to fit me again because I've lost some weight, but maybe not too good because it's like all bunched up. We don't care. We don't care. I got this shirt. God, when did I get this shirt? So my ex and I went to St. Lucia. Let's see. He and I got together in 2001. So we probably went there in like 2004. This shirt is like 20 years old. This shirt is like 20 years old. And I'm like, okay, we're going to make her fit. We're going to make her fit. We're on the health. We are on the health journey. We are on the weight loss journey. If you guys are not following along with me, I think last week was week 15 of consistently posting over there on the health journey of losing weight. And yeah, and today was Cousin Fun Day. Had a good day with my cousin Caroline. She comes and picks me up every Wednesday. And we run around and run errands. I didn't really have any errands to run today. So I bought a bunch of fun stuff. And I did a haul over on my Peter Does Stuff channel. And then we went to Half Price Books. And got a bunch of fun books that I showed over on my Peter Likes Books channel. Look, little Boo Radley. And y'all think that I'm lying about this bed, okay, this purple bed that Lucy sent us. He is, can I show you? He is obsessed with this bed. You want to say hi to everybody, Boo Radley? He said, I'm just in here in my purple bed. Don't mind me. He loves his purple bed so much. Okay, so yeah, so I had a really fun time today with my cousin Caroline. We drove around, we listened to music. She's going to a concert tonight, a concert in the park that's a cover band. She's so excited about it. I was like, well, who do they cover? And she was like, they cover everybody. And I'm like, well, like, who's everybody? And she's like, Journey, Fleetwood Mac, you know, all the greats. I was like, Journey, Fleetwood Mac, all the greats. She'll probably hear a little Rock on Gold Dust Woman tonight, and I hope she danced for me. So anyway, she's going with her girlfriends tonight. She's going to have a real good time in the park. She, like, bought a sweater, and she's like, do you think this is going to be too hot? I said, honey, I told you to go with a zip up and tie it around your waist, okay? She's like, I know, but I think this is cuter for, like, don't you think this is cuter for, like, a little concert in the park? I was like, I love that you actually think about those things. I go, you trying to pick up a husband? You already have one. She started laughing. She goes, no. She goes, we're just going to take some White Claws out there. We're going to have a good time. We're going to bring some hummus and some dip, and we're just going to dance. I was like, now, do you and your girlfriends really dance? She's like, I always dance. You know that. My cousin and I, we dance. We sing the songs, all kind of stuff in the car. So anyway, you know, let me tell you when you know you're getting old, okay? This lip gloss is done. She is so done. I can't even get anything out of her anymore. But, you know, my cousin, she listens to this Sirius. I think it's on Sirius. I don't know what it is, but it's called Yacht Rock. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Have you heard this station before, Yacht Rock Radio? She loves it, okay? Now, I grew up on boats when I was growing up because my dad had a sailboat the entire time that I was growing up that he kept. So I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, for those of you that don't know, and that your first video being introduced to me as a Q&A. I don't know why. I don't know why your first video of mine that you would ever watch would be a Q&A, but hey, welcome. I appreciate you being over here. Some of the ways that I found people back in the day was from favorites videos. I thought I heard him walking around the floor, but he's over there in his little purple bed. But anyway, some of my favorite videos back in the day were Q&As, what's in my bag, and favorites videos, and I found a lot of people through this. So if this is your first video of mine and you just happen to stumble across a Q&A, hey, welcome over here. It's really nice to have you. But anyway, so I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm trying so hard to get this lip gloss out of here. I just need to throw it away. She is done. She do. But anyway, so my dad had a sailboat when I was growing up that he kept in Saugatuck, Michigan. Now, when I was going up there as a kid, Saugatuck, Michigan was kind of like a towny town. Kind of like Amity in the movie Jaws. Today, Saugatuck, Michigan is like you know how a Provincetown is like the gay mecca in the summers? It's kind of like that but for like the Chicago gays, okay? And it's got like cobblestone streets and little bed breakfasts and stuff like that. It's real cute, but it was cute when I was growing up, but it was very much a towny town. There was like one hotel, 2 restaurants, and like a coffee shop. It was real cute. So anyway, so I ran around with my cousin Caroline today. I'm very tired today, okay? I'm very tired, which is why you're getting a Q&A today. You're not getting some deep, passionate video. Well, I am passionate about my life, obviously. I was looking through the questions. I didn't look through all of them, but I looked through some of them, and people were asking me things that I hadn't been asked in a while. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, a Q&A of things I've never asked before or never been asked before. But I stayed up very late last night because I was going to start the Jinx too. So for those of you that don't know, I have a new channel. It's called Peter Watches TV. It was formerly known as, its Christian stage name, Peter's Reality TV Recaps and Opinions, better known as, and that's my opinion, with Peter Monn. But I changed it. She did. But we changed it because it's not all reality TV anymore. In fact, I just got like 200 or 300 subs over there off of one video, and it was my review that I did of the Ashley Madison documentary on Netflix, which I just love that people found me through that video. Anyway, I had a lot to say about Sam and Nia, the Christian family vlogging channel, that are highlighted on a documentary about cheating. I still can't get it through my mind. If you've watched a documentary, there's a part in there where Sam, who's the husband of Nia, and they're this Christian family vlogging channel, and he cheated on her. I mean, that makes sense, right? But anyway, so he says on there, this still kills me. He's like, you know, I was on Yahoo News this one morning, and, I mean, we were just living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know how we were going to pay our bills anymore. Then you find out later he was going to the strip club every night, and he was spending $250 plus a month on Ashley Madison. But anyway, but that's besides the point, right? He didn't know how he was going to pay his bills. And he was like, you know, I was at work, and he was on Yahoo News. I was like, well, maybe you should be working instead of being on Yahoo News, okay? I can tell you, back in the day, my supervisor, if we walked by and we were just chit-chatting or having a little conversation, she would have said, if you don't have something to do, I'll find you something to do. But anyway, he was just scrolling through Yahoo News when this ad comes up for Ashley Madison. And their slogan, if you didn't know that Ashley Madison's slogan is, life is short, have an affair. And he thought to himself, you know, they're right about that first part. They are right about that first part. Life is short. And he thought to himself, if they're right about that first part, maybe they're right about that second part. Life is short. Maybe I should have an affair. I thought, you are dumb as a box of rocks, or you think we are. Okay, dude? Listen, this is why family vlogging channels make $1 million a year and they don't care, okay? So anyway, but that video I had so much fun making that video over there. So, and I did Baby Reindeer. I'm doing all kinds of shows over there. So I got a bunch of true crime documentaries. So the true crime is coming back to this channel. It is coming back. Or, I mean, it never really started, but I got a follow-up because they've been finding more bodies and identifying more people at Fox Hollow Farms, the Herb Baumeister house. So I want to talk about that. I've got a couple other true crime cases that I'm going to follow. But if I watch a documentary, I'm going to cover it on my Peter Watches TV channel. So, for example, earlier, late last weekend, I watched the Pillowcase Murders and Control Alt Desire, which is the Grant Amato case. So I will be covering both of those over on my Peter Watches TV channel. So please go over there, subscribe. I'm having so much fun over there. I may carry the Control Alt Desire video. Oh, well, I'll do it over there, the review. But that may be one of the cases that I talk about over here, the Grant Amato case, where he killed his mom, dad, and his brother. I'm so intrigued with that case and his lack of remorse, and it's just so bizarre. And I'm watching it. Oh my God, Bailey Sarian was in the documentary. I was like, hey girl, how are you? I love her so much, and she knows it. But anyway, so I've been needing to take a little bit of a break, okay, from all the seriousness. So I'm going back. I just announced this the other day. Nobody cared. But I'm going back. I don't have a time limit on it. So it's not like I'm doing it just this summer. But I'm going back and I'm watching all of the previous seasons of Survivor and Amazing Race that I've never watched. So for those of you that don't know, I just picked back up again last fall. So like Survivor, I've watched seasons 44 and 45. Because 45 45 and 46 because that was fall and spring, okay? And then I watched the last two of Amazing Race. Well, Survivor comes back in the fall with 47. So I'm now watching 44, and then I'm going to go back and watch 43 because they've been giving hints about those seasons. Then I'm going to go back and watch the first one. I've watched like the first 10, so I'm going to go back and watch those. I'm going to watch, each one only has like 14 episodes. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch all the Amazing Races too. It's just like fun drama. I love it so much. I love that everybody's like, oh, I watched this with my family when I was growing up. I was like, I remember when the first season of Survivor came out. So anyway, but I stayed up way too late. I watched like 7 episodes of Survivor last night. I'm living for it so much. Okay, and I already know what happens in the final episode, so y'all don't have to ruin it for me, because I'm on the final episode. I'm on episode 13 out of 13 of season 44, but I love Carolyn so much, okay? Like, Carolyn, to me, and I love that she's in recovery. I've been sober since December 17th of 1994. At the time of the airing, she had been sober for like 13 years. Congratulations. I love Carolyn. Carolyn reminds me so much of me and my friends, and I'm just like, you know, and they all are like, she just is herself and stuff like that, you know, and I'm just like, I love that so much. Like, sobriety gives you that, you know? We say we're not a glum lot, so I'm watching all that. But I was thinking last night, I was like, okay, what do I want to do to like into May, and I have some different video ideas. Yes, we're going to continue with the drama over here. The true crime's coming back. I'm going to do the drama. People are like, don't talk about the same 5 people. Why do you always talk about the same 5 people? Please do different videos over here. People begged me for this Go Ask Alice video. Okay, so yesterday I did this Go Ask Alice video. Let's see where she's sitting at right now. Go Ask Alice is sitting at 5.6 thousand views. I'm not somebody that gets ate up with the views, but I will say this. I like people to watch my videos. When people, I've said this for years. You can go fact check this. When people say, I don't care about the views, blah, 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 that's such bullshit, okay? Because the views mean that people are watching your videos. I do want people to watch my videos. That makes me happy. You know, I love when people watch my videos. So when people say that, I think that's bullshit. Now, I'm not all ate up with it, okay? But what I can tell you is that when I look at a video like this, like, hold on a second. Go Ask Alice is a lie, and I'm devastated. And I was. She was a lie. I was so upset about Go Ask Alice being a lie. And that got 5.5 thousand views. And then this video over here, Secrets of Drama Channel Part 1, got 21,000 views. And it's got a picture of Shane Dawson, Trisha Paytas, Jeffree Star, James Charles, and Manny MUA in there. What do you think that tells me? For you people out there that go, why do you always talk about the same 5 people? Because what that tells me is those are the same 5 people that y'all want to hear about. And I actually said that in a video not too long ago, and somebody said, please keep on talking about the same 5 people because I love when you do. So, you know what? Listen, I'm going to make the videos that I want to make. I'm going to make the Go Ask Alice videos, the Paris is Burning videos, the true crime videos, and stuff like that, because that makes me happy, right? I mean, I know this video today probably won't get a lot of views, but I love doing Q&As. They make me happy. But I also like to make videos that, like, make you happy. And so I'm going to continue to discuss the drama and bring the drama to you guys and my opinion and things like that. Sometimes I'll get it right. Sometimes I'll get it wrong. We'll have a discussion about it. It's all fine, right? So anyway, yeah, that will be continuing. So I'm very, very excited about the summer and the month of June. Now, last summer was the summer of Colleen Ballinger. And so, you know, I have to be honest with you. A lot of us have been talking behind the scenes, like, is there going to be some, like, huge thing? I don't really get the feeling that there is, if you want to know the truth. I don't think there's going to be, not with Colleen Ballinger, but with anybody. I don't really, like, people always ask me, like, do you think there's going to be a Dramageddon 17? And I'm like, what Dramageddon are we on at this point? And then somebody came out and said that the last Dramageddon, or the Dramageddon with James Charles, was actually called Sistergeddon, and I never heard of that. And I'm like, I don't even know what Dramageddon we're on at this point, but no, I don't think another Dramageddon is going to happen. Okay, as soon as I say that, watch tomorrow, another Dramageddon will happen. But no, I really don't. I really don't. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens this summer. A lot of people have been asking me what I think about TikTok closing down. And I'm just going to say this right now because so many people know that I make YouTube videos. So a lot of people that, like, are not, like, in this world at all have been saying to me, like, they're like, well, I know you make YouTube videos. What do you think about the ban on TikTok? And I'm like, I don't think it's going to look like what people think it's going to look like. First of all, I don't know what my husband's going to do. I don't know what my cousin Caroline's going to do. I don't know what a lot of my friends are going to do if TikTok closes down. But I don't think TikTok's going to close down at all, okay? Do I think there will be some restructuring and it'll be bought out by a U.S. company and things? Yes, absolutely, 100%. TikTok makes too many people money, and TikTok makes too many companies money. I mean, it's like the number 2, I think, social media site in the world. So TikTok is not going to close down. I know people are, like, panicking and worrying about it, and all them TikTokers are coming over to YouTube and trying to start their careers and failing miserably. I'm not worried about it, and you TikTokers don't need to worry about it too. For a while, I thought, well, maybe, but I don't really see that happening in the future. There's my fortune telling for the year, okay? Now watch, December, there will be no more TikTok, and people will be like, Peter's the worst psychic. I never claimed to be. I never claimed to be a psychic, and I never claimed to be an empath, even though other people think that I have. So anyway, let's get into this Q&A today, okay? I'm very excited about this. Okay. let's see. So I got a bunch of questions. Are these the questions from the other day? Oh, these are the secrets. Okay, so let's get into these questions that I got asked today. Somebody asked me, when people ask me, like, I don't know if this is kind of like a trap or not, but people ask me stuff like, do you watch Judy Smith on YouTube? And I'm like, I don't know who Judy Smith is. Is she problematic? Should I even read the question? So I don't even read the question. Okay, I'm just going to tell you about right now. If I'd never heard of somebody, I ain't going to read the question. Because I don't know if that person is problematic. I don't know what they've been doing on their channels. I don't know who they are, okay? But I'll tell you what she do. She don't read their names, okay? Because I'm not falling into that trap. I know how that works. I'm not doing all that, okay? Somebody said, what happened about your podcast you was going to start about horror films? A couple people asked me about this. Well, I've actually talked about this a little bit on my vlog. So my friend Melissa and I, we love horror movies, and we both love the franchise Halloween. And so we had, thought about coming up with this podcast. I mean, it was getting ready to start. We had the whole setup. We were gonna have this couch that was gonna look like the living room of the old Roseanne show with the what do you call it? The crochet, not the quilt, but the whatever you call it, and the Afghan on the back of it and all that kind of stuff. And we had the whole idea we're gonna have movie posters up behind us, and it's gonna be like we were just sitting in the basement talking about movies, right? And then every episode we were gonna talk about an old horror movie and a new one, and that was gonna kind of be what we were gonna do, right? And maybe guest some people, because Melissa knows a lot of people in the horror industry and things like that, because she goes to I've only been to one, but she goes to a lot of the Horror Hound weekends and the horror conventions. She's met Jamie Lee Curtis. She has a mask from every guy that played Michael Myers. She has them in a case. They're all signed. She has the original poster of Halloween signed by the entire cast. Jamie Lee Curtis wrote in there. There is a boogeyman, Jamie Lee Curtis. She knows all these people. So that we were going to do that. What happened was a lot of different things happened. The timing for that was really, really bad. My friend Melissa is very, very involved with dog rescues, and she started working for other organizations at that time. Like, she added on 2 other organizations. She used to do a lot of transfers. She still does, but she was working for other dog organizations. It wasn't just just wasn't a good time. So we kind of postponed it 6 months to a year, and then the accident happened, and then we've kind of back burnered that a little, put it on the back burner a little bit. We still talk about it from time to time and how we would do it and the setup and things like that. It's just, I wouldn't say either one of us, we haven't ruled it out, but it's not a priority to us right now. A lot of people on my vlog have mentioned my cousin and I, because I had joked on there that my cousin and I, Caroline, have talked about, because people love when Caroline and I do videos together on my Peter Does Stuff channel, that we have joked about starting a reality show called Cousin Cousin, okay? And so a couple people mentioned, they were like, you and Caroline should do a podcast together. I thought Caroline would be like, I'm not interested in a podcast, okay? People ask me, why would you and your husband not do a podcast together, okay? Or why would you and Tanya Jean? Both of them are I don't want to be edited, okay? I want to say what I want to say. I don't want to be edited, things like that, right? And so when I mentioned it to Caroline, Caroline's like, I would love to do a podcast, but what will we talk about? I said, okay, we're not even going to make this decision, because I rushed out before and said that Melissa and I were doing this podcast. We had everything set up, and then it just fell apart. So, Caroline, if we're going to do a podcast, we're not going to start it till January 2025 or later. We're not even going to come out and say anything about it. So if anybody has suggestions of what you guys would like to see Caroline and I do together, we have a space to do it, but we have a name, Cousin Cousin. But other than that, we don't really know what we would talk about on there. And the horror movie podcast with Melissa is not ruled out yet. So it could be that I maybe start 2 podcasts next year. I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes. I'm always changing and transition. I'm currently working on a cozy mystery. I'm currently working on a Christmas book. I got all kinds of projects. I'm starting a garden. That was over on my Peter Does Stuff channel today. But thank you for asking about that. I appreciate it. Somebody said, have you watched Bates Motel and what did you think? I have not, but a lot of people have recommended that to me. Somebody said, would you ever live react to movies that were made from books and then compare them? I mean, I would, but I don't think anybody would be that interested to watch them. Because I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be that interested to watch a video of somebody live reacting to a movie that was based on a book. Like what, Paper Towns by John Green? Oh, Margot. I don't care. I like to watch movies. Yeah, I like to watch TV shows. I like to hear people's, opinions about them. I like to watch recaps of them, but I don't know that I would want to watch somebody doing a live reaction to a TV show. Do people do that? Are there channels out there that do that? People are like, yes. I'm like, well, if there are, I am not aware of that. I don't even know how that works, okay? Somebody said, best serious concert. Mine was David Bowie, 1983, Hugs and Love. Oh, God, what a concert. Okay, so my best concert that I have ever gone to in my entire life with Ziggy Marley and the B-52s. I saw him at Deer Creek. It's now been, the name has been changed 100 times, but for those Grateful Dead people out there or Dave Matthews people, it will forever be called Deer Creek. That's where all like the bootleg tapes and like the live shows, they always say Deer Creek. So Deer Creek is in Doublesville, Indiana. It was actually the last Grateful Dead show before Jerry died in Chicago, or one like after the Chicago shows. And I used to go to that's where my high school graduation was, at Deer Creek, and I still call it Deer Creek. Everybody my age still calls it Deer Creek. I think it's like Klipsch now or something like that, but everybody calls it Deer Creek. And my best show was the B-52s and Ziggy Marley. And Ziggy Marley, when he sang Tomorrow People, it was like absolutely amazing. The B-52s live were incredible. I would say my second best show ever was, it was a tie between the first time I saw Dave and the first Fish show that I ever went to. The first Fish show that I ever went to was at Deer Creek, and it was maybe a year and a half after I got sober, so maybe like 95, 96. It was absolutely amazing. They laid on their backs and sang Yellow Brick Road. For those of you that don't know, I'm a little bit of a deadhead, and I absolutely loved, I mean, it was unbelievable. I'd never seen anything like it before in my entire life. I mean, even compared to like the Dead, it was like unbelievable. So that was probably the best concerts. I mean, you know, like my husband and I go to a lot of music festivals. We go to Ultra every year and things like that. It's a completely different vibe. It's a completely different feeling than going to like a concert, like a show like that, you know? So, but I to this day, when people ask me, I'm always like Ziggy Marley and B-52s. It was unbelievable. I mean, to sit in an audience with, I don't know, 20,000 people and everybody go, Tin Roof, Rusted. I mean, it was amazing, you know? It was absolutely amazing. So, okay. Good question. Let's see. Are you still working on the basement? I'm almost done on the basement, actually. I've worked very, very hard on it all through the winter. It's like now it is, like it was segmented before into like different areas like books and whatever. Now it's pretty much boxed up, and then right when you walk into the left is like, it's like a whole corner of all this stuff that has to be donated and taken out of here. And then the rest of the basement is pretty much cleared out, except for all my memories are around the couch in the basement. And that's the stuff that I have to go through still. And it's like pictures, stuff from like when I was growing up as a kid, stuff of my mom's, and it's like all over there. I just have that to go through, and then I'm done. So I've been really working hard on the basement, on the closets, on the kitchen cabinets, on the garage. We are cleaning her down. We are currently, people ask us about the house redos all the time. So we are on a 5-year plan to redo the house and find a place either in Florida, or we're now kind of leaning more towards San Diego, because my brother and sister-in-law just got married. They live out there. So when they have kids, we'd like to go out there, have my mother-in-law have a place to stay as well. So we might think about doing that. But in 5 years, we want the condo to be, we will never sell this place. We'll always have this because we have, you know, a home base in Indianapolis. So that the condo will be exactly how we want it to be. And then have another place as well that we will go back and forth. So that's kind of our dream in the next 5 years. Okay. Oh my God. Somebody said, I'm recovering from surgery, Peter. I need books or show recs. Well, I hope you feel much better soon and that you heal quickly. Book recommendations, I would say any of my book clubs over on my Peter Likes Books channel. I have 2 book clubs over there, True Crime Book Club and Peter's Book Club. And show recommendations, go over to my Peter Watches TV channel. Full service. Okay. Somebody said, did you see the trailer for Life After Lockup with Gypsy Rose and her ex-husband? I did not, and I have really very little interest in watching that, if you want to know the truth. I don't understand the fascination with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. This is just my, like, you know, not dedicating an entire video to her, like, let me tell you what I really think about her kind of thing, okay? I think that she served her time. And I think it's like, okay, let's let the girl live her life. She's a woman. I mean, she's like 32 or something like that, right? Or 30. Let her go live her life. You know, if she, you know, she got married, now she's getting divorced and all this kind of stuff, having plastic surgery. Every magazine's picking it up. And then, you know, it's like, it's social media following and all this kind of stuff. It's like, she killed her mother. Okay, and I know she just put out something about Mother's Day about her and stuff. She killed her mother. Let her go live her life, all right? You know, I'm not saying that I don't believe that people deserve forgiveness, because I do. I don't think it's my job to decide whether or not her mother or other people. And I know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard went through hell growing up. I totally understand that, okay? And I know it's not a real popular opinion, because people are like, well, do you know what she went through her entire life? I've been sober for 29 years. If you heard some of the horror stories of people that I know, of what they went through, I'm talking about like when you read the book Child Called It, where he puts, like, his foster parent puts him on a burning stove. Okay, I'm talking stories 100 times worse than that. All right, on a regular basis, foster care system, foster care home to foster care home, being essayed left and right, never having a home base their entire lives. Okay, and today are productive members of society, and they didn't kill anybody. Okay, there were other options for her, and the fact that the world is lifting her up is bizarre to me. Do what you need to do. I don't choose to do that, okay? I think she served her time. Go live your life. What is this fame that's come along with it is so bizarre to me. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many examples, like, of if you took this person and they did all this kind of stuff, but then you explained it away with, well, they had all these issues, and they had all these issues where they killed 10 people. Okay, but, like, let's give them this social... I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me at all, right? And that's just my perspective. I have no interest in watching a show. I watched the shows back in the day. I mean, if somebody really, if something new came out about a documentary about her, and I'm not talking about her life now, I have very little interest in her life now. If something came out now where they, like, went back and showed things about the case that we didn't know, I would maybe watch that. I wasn't even, to be honest with you, that interested in it when I watched it, like, back in the day. I wasn't even that interested in it then, right? And I think it's sad what happened to her. I think it's devastating what happened to her mother. I think she's part of that. In interviews that I've seen of hers, she takes accountability, kind of. And, you know, it's just... let her live her life. She served her time. I don't understand the fame and the need to put her on every magazine cover. And to be honest with you, I think it's disgusting. And, you know, people are like, well, blah, 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 whatever, this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a dead woman, you know, like... I know, I personally have very dear friends of mine that, and I know what she went through. I watched the documentaries. I've read the articles. I literally have dear, dear friends of mine that have gone through worse hell than she went through, okay? And at the time of her mother's murder, she wasn't 14 years old. She was 23, you know? So, I mean, I think that's something else that other people don't remember. So for me, it's bizarre. The social media following that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has is bizarre. I don't get it. Somebody wants to watch it and buy into it, by all means, do what you need to do. I choose to remove myself from that. So, okay. Somebody says, how do you find the perfect therapist? I think I might have, but I'm not sure. Well, I don't know that you ever have the perfect therapist, you know? I mean, I've had several in my life, you know, ever since I was, you know, growing up to now. I love my therapist now. Do I think he's perfect? No, not by any means whatsoever, you know? And we worked through different issues and things like that, not just of mine, but like misunderstandings that we've had and things like that. I think you have to know what you're looking for. At the time that I was seeking out a therapist this last time, which was after the accident, I had seen therapists in the past that were super clinical. Now, my therapist has an extremely clinical background, okay? But it's very much more of just like a conversation, and he gives me suggestions and things like that. I needed somebody that was going to be compassionate, that was going to be understanding, that was going to be challenging, that was going to say things to me that other people wouldn't say to me at that time. I needed that. I didn't need somebody to diagnose me with 15 things. That's not what I needed at the time. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. But I didn't feel like I needed that, you know. And like recently we just did this trauma narrative to work through the accident. And actually last night, so the same person that I see individually is the same person that we have for marriage counseling. And last night we had a marriage counseling session. My husband and I continue to go to marriage counseling just to, like, we look at it as like a vocal coach to just continue to improve our marriage. Our marriage is so good today because of marriage counseling. I mean, if my husband were sitting right here and you said to him, like, what is one thing you should do before you get married? He'd say, get into marriage counseling and stay in it your entire life. Like, it will only help with communication and things like that. Like, we both are such avid believers in marriage counseling. And people are always like, our friends are always like, well, you guys are really great. Like, why do you go to marriage counseling? Alex is the first one, and he'll say, it's because we go to marriage counseling that we're really great. You know, but like last night, like our therapist was explaining to Alex, like, the purpose of the trauma narrative, which he already knew, but he was like explaining it, like how it like related to him and things like that. I'm so incredibly grateful for the therapist that we have and for me working with him individually, and Alex works with him individually as well. If at some point comes that, I mean, it's for me very much like working with a sponsor in recovery. If the time comes and I feel like, you know, like we're at the end of the road and I need to find somebody else or hear something different, I don't think he would take it personally. That's not something I would take personally as a sponsor, and I know my sponsor wouldn't take that personally, and my previous sponsors haven't taken that personally as well. I think that you need to find somebody that's a good fit for you and the rapport is there and you feel comfortable. And I mean, I think it's individual to each person what you're looking for. You know, I don't think that that's something that I can say in a video, the perfect therapist looks like this, because I don't think there is that. I think it's different for every person, you know, and I don't even know that I feel like I know what that means until I'm sitting down and I'm talking to somebody over the course of several sessions. And then I'm kind of like, okay, this feels like a good fit. You know what I mean? So that's what I think. Anyway, this is going to stop. Hold on just a second. I thought I might just get on here and do a little quick Q&A. You know how that goes. I do 2 or 3 questions and I can't get out of them. Okay. Will we ever get to see the mysterious basement of Peter Monn? Yes. Okay. And I took before pictures so you guys can see how horrible it looked before, and then you'll truly understand why I never showed it. Okay. What would your mom think of your channels, and do you think she would video with you? I think my mom would definitely video with me. Okay, a lot of people were asking me about my dad on here. My dad and I are very close. I'm very close with my dad and my stepmom. I made this very, very clear in videos through the years. My dad and my stepmom are very, very private people. My dad is going to be 84 this year, okay? He totally gets what I do. He understands it. You know, like every once in a while, he'll meet somebody and he'll be like, oh my God, this person came up to me and said they have the same last name, ask if I was your dad, blah, 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 whatever. It's interesting because growing up in Indianapolis, so my dad was a surgeon in Indianapolis, and wherever I would go, like, Monn is not like a typical last name, right? So people would be like, oh, is your dad so-and-so? And I'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, oh my God, your dad did, you know, my cleft palate when I was 5 and like changed everything. My dad's a retired plastic surgeon. And so he did a lot of like facial reconstruction, burn victims. His specialty was hand reconstruction. So I would meet people a lot that would say things to me about like, your dad fixed my hand. I worked in, you know, a factory and I couldn't go back to work and things like that. And I grew up with that. So it's kind of funny now that my dad will say, oh, so-and-so that I know is a nurse at the hospital, like she watches all your videos and she loves your vlogs and things like that. My dad totally gets it. My dad told me a couple years ago if I really wanted him to do a video that he would do it with me, but my dad is super, super private. My dad's very, very humble guy. He's not somebody that wants to be on video. If we were going to do a video, it would be only of the purpose to like help educate people about like parents with addicts or like coming out to a parent and things like that. Like I wouldn't just have my dad on a video to do a Q&A. Like, my dad's been exposed enough. People have looked up his information and things like that. He really pays it no mind. He could care less. But for me, like, I am protective of my family. I am protective of my dad. And I'm not going to do that if I don't have to. Like, my sponsor, full on, she's like, she wants to be in video. She's like, put me in a video. I want to be in it. She loves all this stuff, right? But I'm like, no, because like, I'm really protective of these people. You know, I have a lot of people that are looking into private stuff in my life. And I'm like, I'm not going to make it easier for them. You know, they already know who these people are. They already know where my dad's address is and where he worked and things like that. I mean, why make it even easier to give them access to them? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to those people that are so special to me in my life. The only reason I would do it, and I did tell my dad this, was so that I would have memory of my dad and I on camera together. And I have actually thought about filming a video with my dad, doing like a Q&A of questions that this is gonna make me really sad, of questions that like I always wanted to know from my dad, but we really had those questions after my mom passed away. My mom and I were able to have that conversation. And so I made sure that after my mom passed away that I would, there would be no unanswered questions, no conversations that hadn't been had with people that I love in my life. And so, and my dad and I were already there anyway, you know, and I do actually, people are like, you never talk about your dad. I share a lot of stories about my dad, of traveling with my dad, the boat with my dad, things like that. I don't share a lot about him currently today. I mean, my dad's retired. He sits at home, he watches Law and Order, he watches CNN, he reads a lot of books, a lot of newspapers, goes to the grocery store, takes a walk with his dog, sits on the back patio, looks at animals. My love of squirrels, I probably get from my dad. You know, they live on a lake, so he just watches the lake. I mean, they live a retired life, you know, so like, it's not like I don't really know what people expect. People are like, well, you don't talk about seeing your dad. I see my dad on a regular basis. I just don't say a lot about that because I don't want to bring attention to that, because my dad, like I said, is a very private person. The only reason I would do a video, like I was going to say, was that if I wanted to have like a video with my dad sitting down, asking him questions of things that like I always wanted to know, or what his feelings were, so that I would have that to look back on at some point, and it would just be for me. I would not post that video. My mom would not have understood this. She wouldn't have understood the criticism that goes along with it. My mom was somebody that, okay, she got meanness in the world. She understood all that. Like, she understood that it existed. She didn't understand where it came from. Like, anybody out there that had, like, true hate in their heart, like, she would not understand, like, the stalking, the harassing, the hating. Like, she wouldn't get it. She would be like, why are these people, like, what is it about you? And I'd say, well, like, they don't like, I mean, it's very, like, somebody the other day just came for me, and it was like, I looked right at their account, and their account was like, I hate Trisha Paytas count or something. I mean, it's so obvious where it comes from with these people, you know? My mom wouldn't get that. She'd be like, okay, so these people are exposing parts of your life because of an opinion that you have or because you weren't fair to somebody in a video. Like, why don't they just come to you and say, like, I take issue with this. Like, why don't they just email? She wouldn't get it. She wouldn't get the sneakiness of all of it and all. I mean, she just wouldn't get it, right? And she wouldn't understand the meanness of it and the cruelty and things like that. You know, I think from time to time, some things, if my mom watched my videos avidly, which I think she wouldn't, I think that she would probably, you know, I just don't think that my mom would have really got the whole thing. She would have loved, like, the TV reviews. She would have liked that. The drama, she wouldn't have gotten that at all. She wouldn't have understood it. The videos of, like, sharing about, like, sobriety, she would have loved that. She would have loved that, you know? I think it would have made her very, very proud how much I share about her sobriety and our sobriety together. Because I think that, like, you know, most of her life when she was sober, like, she didn't tell a lot of the stories, and towards the end of her life, she was like, I want you to share these stories with people. I want people to know that there's hope for families to get sober together, that we do recover. You know, my mom was somebody that was very involved in a 12-step program. Somebody else asked me in here, how did my mom get sober? Did she get sober by way of a 12-step program, by way of treatment? My mother never went to treatment. She always said to me that she was jealous of the fact that she didn't go to treatment because she wanted to do, like, group therapy and individual therapy and stuff. Well, she did do individual therapy her whole life. My mom actually started going to a sister program called Al-Anon, which is a 12-step program for friends and family members of alcoholics. She went with a friend, okay? And while she was there, she was sitting and she was listening to somebody's lead, which is where they tell their story. And this woman was telling her story, I think, about something to do with, like, whoever was drinking in their life or whatever. And my mom was like, she's talking about me. Like, not literally, but, like the person that she was talking about as the alcoholic in her life, she was like, that's me. And so that was when my mom started going to 12-step meetings. She actually she drove around a lot of meetings before she ever went in. I didn't realize till after my mom got sober. So my mom's sobriety date is June 2nd, so it's coming up. She would have had 29 years. I went to my home group meeting last night with my best friend, and I was thinking about that. I was thinking, like, my mom would have had we would have both had 29 years, you know, like, I mean, what a blessing, you know, like, that's so amazing. And, my mom would have been so proud of that, you know? And, her sobriety, like, is probably the greatest gift she ever gave me besides my birth. And, so anyway, yeah, but, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. So anyway, my mom was very, very involved in a 12-step program. She had a sponsor. She sponsored people. I mean, she was known to be what they call big book thumper, if you know what that is. I mean, she knew it inside and out. And I'm forever grateful for her for giving me the language of recovery to speak to one another, you know, and that we were able to share that. So that's how my mom got sober. So she, this is what I was going to say. I found out. So her sobriety birthday is June 2nd. When she passed away, she had asked me if I would, like, she was like, donate my stuff if you want to or whatever. So, like, all of her sobriety coins and things like that, I actually donated to women in the program to, like, give out to other women. My mom would have wanted it to be that way. And so what I found in there was, like, a numerous start-over tokens, which are where, like, when you get sober in recovery, like, if you come back, you get a start-over token, like, when you start over. So before her sobriety date of June 2nd, she'd attempted on numerous occasions to get sober. And I knew that, like, growing up, but I didn't know that she had gone to, like, a lot of meetings and, like, relapsed and started over and stuff like that. So just to prove to you, like, if you don't get it your first time, your 5th time, your 10th time, I mean, she had like 12 coins in there, okay? You can eventually get it. I have friends of mine that probably relapsed for 10 years and couldn't get it and now have 20 or 30 years of sobriety, you know? So don't ever give up, and don't ever give up hope on somebody. My mother got sober at 51 years old, and I never would have thought that she would have got sober, you know? And what an amazing life she gave me. Somebody said, what is the best thing about Alex? The best thing about Alex, physically, emotionally, the best thing about Alex is My husband has a very quick-witted sense of humor. We match each other, I think, on our sense of, I mean, we make each other laugh regularly, which I always said that somebody that I'm going to be with for a long period of time is going to have to keep me laughing. And you know, in August, a lot of people question our marriage a lot online and ask all these questions, you know, that it's so crazy to me. I mean, we talk about marriage counseling. I mean, if we were headed for divorce and my husband was unhappy, first of all, I think the one thing that people don't understand is, like, people don't really know my husband as well as they think they do, because my husband is nobody that would stay in a situation where he was unhappy. And today, at 51, almost 52 years old, neither am I. If either of one of us were unhappy, there's nothing that's tying us together, okay? We're both financially independent on our own. There's no reason why we would have to be married. So when people say those kinds of things, it's always baffling to me. In August, we will proudly have been together for 16 years, and we will have been married for 13. And I say that proudly because we were never the couple that was supposed to make it. I mean, we were just talking about this the other night. I can remember, like, going on our first date, and actually, our therapist was asking us last night, like, what did we think of each other when we first met? I didn't think we'd be together 6 weeks, you know, down the road. But I didn't even think we'd be together. I didn't think there'd be 2 or 3 dates, you know? So I would say that. My husband also, through therapy, has gotten very emotional. And to see him get touched by things like, we were at his aunt and uncle's house the other day for his aunt and cousin's birthday, and his grandma's 94 years old. And just to see him with his grandma and, you know, dancing with his mom and stuff like that, like, and to, you know, like, see him cry when, like, he's holding his grandma and stuff like that, the emotion that my husband has, his loyalty towards his friends and family. My husband is, I mean, he is ride or die. Like, if you are his friend and you show him loyalty, he is, I mean, he has your back always. And like, he is ride or die. I love that man with all of my heart. I am so proud to call him my husband. He's made some mistakes. I've made some mistakes. We're not the best people in the entire world. We're not perfect by any means. I love that man with every bit of my heart. And I am so proud to call that man my husband. And his ass isn't that bad either. Okay, so I'll just say that when he walks across the room, his ass ain't that bad either. Are you going to ever listen to Taylor Swift's re-recorded albums? I don't know. I didn't even listen to her new album. And I like Taylor Swift, but I haven't even listened to her new album. What helps keeping the journey going with your sobriety? This is so interesting that you asked this question, because last night, I'm going to do a whole Peterisms video about this, so I'll save it to that. But last night in my meeting, the topic was, what do you put between you and the drink so that you don't start drinking again? And, you know, for me, I'll just make it short, but I talked about the rigorous honesty of knowing that it's not going to work for me. After all these years, I know, like, I've thought to myself, well, you got sober so young, you got sober at 22 and a half, maybe you're not an alcoholic and an addict, you know, maybe you could have a glass of wine, blah, blah, blah. But normal people don't think that way. Normal people don't, like, rationalize why it's okay to have, like, a beer or a glass of wine and think, well, if it doesn't work, are you going to be ending up snorting cocaine every day and smoking crack and eating pills again like you were back then? I mean, normal people don't think that way, right? So if I don't think like normal people think, it's probably not smart for me to have a drink, right? So, you know, it's just the honesty of knowing that it's not going to work for me, right? And what an amazing, and the opposite of that is not what I'm losing anymore, but what I get is a gift in return. I have an amazing life as a result of my sobriety. You know, an amazing life. I mean, it's just unbelievable, my life, right? When will you do a video with Adam McIntyre? Keep on teasing it. Love you both. I haven't talked to Adam McIntyre in a while. It's been a while since I've talked to Adam. He did ask me, he said people in his audience were asking if we were going to do a collab together. I said, you let me know. We'll just, like, Zoom it and figure it out. And he was like, okay. And we haven't really talked in a while. Do you wish you had a sibling? How would your life be different if you did? Well, I feel like I do with Caroline now, because Caroline and I are both only children and we're so close. I did when I was growing up. I wish I had a sibling, but almost as kind of like a built-in friend. Now, with having my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-laws and things like that, I don't really care. I think, I will say this, having seen friends of mine go through, like when their parents pass away or get sick or they get older, things that they had to deal with where siblings are fighting over, well, this is what should happen to mom, or this is what should happen to mom, or I want mom's china set. Take it all. I don't want any of it, you know, except for the 5 things that remind me of my mom. But I've seen so many people fight over that kind of shit. I didn't have to do any of that. There was none of that, right? But I also had to go through it alone. I will say this, and I told a friend of mine this that is an only child recently. I said it's so much easier to go through it alone than I've witnessed with my friends that have siblings. Because then there's like, you know, 2 siblings are helping, one's not, and then that's that one sibling that's not helping. It's, you know, it's a mess. And it was hard at the time, but I had my Aunt Kathy next to me. You know, my dad was very, very helpful through the whole process when my mom was in the hospital and afterwards. My cousin Caroline has been so great through all that. I had a lot of friends at the time. Tanya Jean was amazing. And so, you know, I mean, you know, it takes a village, and I had a village around me. I had a community of a support system, and I'm so grateful for that. You know what I mean? So I don't really care today. I don't really think about it today about having a brother and sister. And the other thing is, like, so I'm an only child, so, and I'm not going to have any kids, so the name kind of like dies with me, so to speak. I used to care about that. I mean, there's a lot of Monns on my dad's side of the family, but not tons. But I used to care about that. I don't care about that anymore. And I know my dad doesn't care about that because I said something to him about it like 10 years ago. He's like, he goes, I'm going to be dead. I'm not going to know. If like if there's Monns living on. He's like, I could care. My dad is somebody that could care less about that stuff. He doesn't care. He's not like a leave your legacy kind of person. He's like, live your best life, be as good of a person as you can. Contribute positively to the world every single day in some small way, and don't tell anybody about it, and just live the best life that you possibly can. That's like literally my dad's motto, you know? My dad always told me about, like, as a job growing up, he said, do something that you love and the money will follow, and if the money doesn't follow, at least you do something that you love. That's what my dad told me about a job when I was growing up. Do you believe in the death penalty? I think it depends on the case, and I think it depends on the family's choice. That's what I think. Was it hard opening up to Alex about your past when you all started dating? I'm assuming you're talking about my sobriety. It wasn't at all. I always lead with that. I always, like, anybody that's going to come into my life, I always let them know. Typically, like, I think I talked to Alex about it before we ever even went on our first date. And then he asked a lot of questions. You know, I think a lot of people think, I will tell you this, it's interesting. I think a lot of people think that it would be a deterrent to dating people. It never has been for me. Most of the guys that I dated back in the day were always very, whether it lasted, you know, one date or a relationship, most guys were very, very interested in my sobriety. Now, I will tell you this is interesting. I've tried to hook up several of Alex's girlfriends with guys that I know in sobriety that are fantastic guys, several years, I mean, you know, his friends are, you know, 30 to 35 or whatever. I'm trying to set him up with guys the same age, good job, sober for 5 or 6 years. And it's interesting that several of them have been like, well, I kind of want to date somebody that I can go out. And I understand it, but like, I think it's interesting that they're like, I kind of want to date somebody that I can like go out. And they're not, and these girls are not alcoholics by any means, but they're like, I want to date somebody that I can go out with and have a drink and things like that. Like, you know, whenever I'm like, I get it, but you're missing out on some great guys, you know? So that's interesting, I think. Somebody said, did you know your videos have helped me work through my trauma with my family drug use? I did not know that, but I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. Somebody said, mentally, how did you prepare when starting your channels, like way back to the first? Like my BookTube video, so I just celebrated 8 years on BookTube. I knew that I wanted to be part of this community of BookTube. I was watching a lot of videos. I wrote a book in 2014, and so that's kind of how I got started looking at BookTube. And there are several people that I watched. I still watch some of them today. And I just was like, I want to be part of, I love books. I want to be part of this community where people are talking about books and stories and things like that. And so one day I just was like, I'm going to start it. And I've shared this on here a lot. I was like, I'm not going to start it for 6 months because I'm going to lose a bunch of weight. And then I will start it after that. And then I was like, you're not going to lose the weight in 6 months. If you're going to do it, do it. And I just filmed my first video that day. And yeah, I didn't lose the weight in 6 months and I'm still here. So, let's see. People are asking me about Todrick Hall. I'll do that in a separate video if somebody wants to know about that. Most memorable Lost scene. Well, the very end, the ending for me. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't watched it. Favorite Lost character. I don't really remember their names. So it's the guy that played Charlie in Party of Five, but I don't remember what his name was. Or was his name Charlie in Lost? I can't remember. Something not answered, and he was the main character. Was his name Jack on the show? I can't remember now, but I loved Lost. Will we ever see an Andrew and Garrett video talking about Shane? Well, I feel like Garrett's kind of hinted at it a few times, but I don't know. We'll see. The thing is, I know that Shane Dawson has people sign, like, airtight DNAs. DNA, is that what it's called? DNAs. Do not. NDAs. So I have a feeling that Andrew has probably, I mean, he was his videographer, so he has had to have signed one, so he probably legally can't say a whole lot about Shane. I think it's interesting we don't really talk a whole lot about that, but like, I mean, I've heard from several people. I know from somebody that was asked to sign an NDA by Shane Dawson and said no, and so, they told me what was in the NDA, and I was like, oh my god, and that was like years ago, and I was like, yeah, I would never have signed that either. So, does it surprise me if they don't talk about it? No, I think they say as much as they possibly can. Favorite color, blue. Green is my second favorite color. Somebody said, do you think, this person said I didn't have to answer this if it was going to get me into trouble, harm, or harassment, because in Indiana, this is like a big thing. You don't really talk about this. But somebody said, do I think that they have the right person for the Delphi murders? I think they have somebody that's involved with it, but I don't think they have the whole picture. And I think the police know, okay, I got to be very careful how I say this. I think there's a lot of people involved in it. And I think that guy is just one of many people. And I think it is a huge deal, a huge operation. And that's like in Indiana, people talk about that like we all know, but like nobody really says anything about it. I think outside of India, I mean, Delphi is literally like an hour and a half for me. From my door to where it happened is probably less than an hour and a half. It's a huge case, you know, internationally, and I think, like, in Indiana, what you hear is it's very corrupt, and there are a lot of people in it. I mean, we're like, what, how many years are we out now, and they still haven't released everything that was on the recording? I mean, for what? You have the guy. So what could be on the recording that's so incriminating that you haven't released all the phone records yet? It's just, it's so sketchy to me. No, I don't, and I think that they're never going to get justice. It makes me really, really sad. Have you got any surprises planned for Alex's birthday? Oh, quite a few. Somebody asked me if we're going to do a video together. So my birthday is June 29th, and we will be doing probably a video together for that. Do you ever see YouTube coming to an end as a job for you? No, not anytime in the near future. And if YouTube ever closes down, I'll just go over to the Facebook or the Instagram, and if God forbid, the TikTok, if it's still around. Has the census lady ever tried again to get your interview? No, she hasn't. I would like... I think people think I made those videos up. Those videos are 100% real. Like, that's exactly what happened. If she showed up again, you better bet your ass I would make a video about it. 100%. People have been begging for a follow-up on the census lady for years. Absolutely, I would make a follow-up video about that. Okay, if you could create your own The Walking Dead spinoff, what characters would it be about? Did you guys just hear that they're doing a spinoff of The Housewives, and it's called Making It in Manhattan, and it's like Marks and Chloe Brooks, of Meredith Marks from Salt Lake City, and then like Candy Burris' son, and then like Teresa Goodice's daughter, and they're all like in Manhattan. It's like the kids of The Housewives. I thought that was interesting. I said that to my friend Tanya last night. I said, don't you think this is how my friend Tanya and I talk. I said, girl, can you even imagine watching a show like that? I think it's going to be so boring. And she goes, yeah. She goes, I think I might want to watch that. I go, yeah, I think I might want to watch that too. See how we change our opinions that quick? So anyway, you know, I don't know who would be my favorite spinoff. I'm loving Daryl Dixon. I mean, first of all, I love that man. Okay, I love that man. If I was not married to my husband, I would be married, well, maybe Rick Grimes. I don't know, God, like if you could combine Daryl Dixon, Negan, and Rick Grimes all together, like, they are all so, I mean, you know, talk about listen, and they are all my age, too, okay? When people want to be like, you're so old, do you know what this means? This is what, I'm like, y'all listen, okay? All these men are older than me, okay? And they are stars of The Walking Dead, all right? They are all older than me. That guy that played Daryl Dixon, what's his name? I can't think. Norman Reedus. He was married to Helena Christensen, the model. Their son is a model. Like, he's older than... These people are older than me. People think I'm like, you're so old. You're so old. Rick Grimes, Negan, they're older than me. That guy that plays Negan is like 8 years older than me, right? Oh, my God. I think they are so fine. All three of them. Oh, my God. I'd watch a spinoff of the three of them, okay, on a road trip across America, just killing people. Or not killing zombies, not killing people. Okay, how's the pool? The pool is cold. The pool was warm the first day, but it's a little cold today. Okay. Let's see. Hold on a second. When does pool season begin? I did a whole video about it on my Peter Duff Stuff channel. You are late to the game, girl. Okay, we did a whole video over there talking about the pool is open. Okay. Oh, here was the question. How did your mom get sober, meeting or rehab? When is the next video with Alex? On my birthday, or around then. Do you and Alex want to retire in Miami? I mean, we're not going to retire any one place, because we're going to travel and then have this place here and somewhere else. We're not definite about Miami. San Diego is an option. We've got a couple other places we're thinking about. How do you choose your next read? It's just totally in the moment of what I'm feeling. Like, I go through my, like, Audible. Well, I just did a book haul over there. So, like, I'm currently right now reading, like, 5 physical books and 2 graphic novels. And listening to 2 Audible books. So, it's always something. Okay. I've not watched Love is Blind. Somebody said, do you have a favorite Tinkerbell video? I think you mean Thumbelina the squirrel, but I love that you call her Tinkerbell. So my favorite, I love Thumbelina the squirrel so much. Oh my God, she makes me so happy. The fact that this couple rescued this squirrel that her mother had her, and like came in through the window and had her and her sister, who didn't make it sadly, in this guy's bed, and they rescued her, and like now she's like 8 or something, and she's had all these surgeries. She had like a full hysterectomy, and she has all these medical issues, and she just is so happy, and they're so sweet. I mean, she makes me so happy. I'm like, this little creature has gone through so much. I mean, can we just talk about this for a second? Hold on just a second. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this level of sweetness right here? Well, hi, honey. Are you in your purple bed with your purple blanket? Yeah. I mean, I just, you know, people ask me all the time, like, what do you want to do if you ever quit YouTube? I want to, like, own a farm out in the middle of nowhere and have 1 million rescue animals is what I want to do. There's something to me about the humanity of people, especially with rescue animals, like senior rescue animals, but any rescue animals. But the idea of saving this little squirrel, right? That other people would just like drive down the street and not look at twice, you know, climbing up a tree or going through the grass. She inspires me, and the other day I got followed by a squirrel account. Oh my God, it totally made my day on Instagram. I won't shout her out yet, but I'm going to, because she's one of my favorite squirrels. I love her so much. But I love all of it, you know. My favorite video of Thumbelina the squirrel is, it's either, there's one of two. It's one that's more recent, and it's when she's laying in bed and she's asleep, and her dad brings her, she has this little wooden spoon, and he puts avocado on it, and he brings her breakfast in bed. I love that one. My other one is her Christmas one, where she unwraps all of her Christmas presents, and she goes crazy over this avocado. She loves avocados. I mean, it's just like, that kind of simplicity of life makes me so happy, you know? That the idea that there's this little squirrel out there that gets so excited over an avocado, and if these people hadn't rescued her, that she wouldn't be in the world for, I mean, she has hundreds of thousands of followers, for hundreds of thousands of followers to enjoy and to inspire and to motivate. And when I'm having a bad day and I go over there, and yes, I did buy a Thumbelina t-shirt, I'm going to buy a hoodie too. And when I go over there and I look at her little videos and they totally uplift me, I mean, that's what it's all about, Charlie Brown, and Thumbelina the squirrel's where it's at, you know? And her parents do that, and it makes me so happy. So the Christmas video, but I love the video where she's eating off the little wooden spoon too. So anyway, Boo Radley just got up from his nap, so that means it's time for me to end this and take him outside. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want me to finish these questions, I got a couple more. There'll be a part 2 coming real soon. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.